Today we are speaking to Cordless Resourcing Business Manager Ian Kirby about resourcing. Hello Ian.
Hi Bev.
Why is now a good time to challenge the perceptions about resourcing?
It's interesting you saying that because I read over the last couple of weeks a lot of articles about recruitment and resourcing, bundling everything together and talking quite extensively about the negative associations that people tend to have either from a client point of view or from a candidate perspective about how the industry is being managed, how it's being run historically. And actually, I think what has become very apparent from reading a lot of this information that's coming to the front now, particularly through LinkedIn, is that perceptions need to shift in terms of both sides, so clients and candidates, but it's more about the delivery of the service and it's more about actually understanding from all sides what the issues are historically with the industry, because it has had traditionally not a particularly positive influence, and I would say not necessarily a particularly positive reception. I think it's about how we challenge that in terms of showing what we deliver as a value add service to our clients and to our candidates, and actually being human beings and not actually working in a kind of a treadmill where you have that association where it's constantly focused on numbers and it's not about the people. For me, I came here to run a business that's about people, whether it's a client or a candidate. Everybody wants to have a proper service and everybody wants to be treated as individuals, and rightly so. And so for me, that's the main challenge that I have, is actually being able to challenge those perceptions that are in the wider community and say that it doesn't have to be the way that it's been historically. There is another way, and it is about raising those kind of expectations and raising the bar, and that's certainly what I'm looking to do with this business model here.
So what do you think is different about our methodology?
For us, I think as purely as a way of actually capturing candidates, the beginning process, the very start point is actually the key. So if you don't get the beginning engagement part right, whether it's whichever side of the fence it's on, there's going to be a problem. So for me, it's about actually working very consultatively from the very beginning, regardless of which direction it's in. I want to understand, first of all, what the business wants. I want to understand not just what fit they want in terms of their team and their skill sets and so on, but I want to understand exactly what it is that they need so that I can advise them that perhaps previously they may not have been looking in the right places and they may not have been looking for the right types of individuals and the right types of skills. So for me, it's about using my experience, 12 years, 13 years now in this sector, and actually looking at businesses and explaining to them and assisting them with the problems they've got and actually working with them to find a solution. So that's the first thing that I think is different. And the second thing is actually how we work with candidates in terms of how we categorise and how we benchmark the individuals and how we present those ultimately to the people that we're working with from a client perspective. So I mean, we've got 6 criteria which we group people into, and those 6 criteria are based on a number of practices that I've read over the years, but most importantly for me, those 6 criteria I think represent individuals very effectively. The point is actually to take the pain away. So to actually say to line managers and to people that are hiring, you don't need to read a CV. This is a representation, this is a snapshot of the key skills that this individual has, and this is why I think they're the right person for your business.
So blue apples.
Yes.
What is a blue apple?
Well, it's an odd question, that, isn't it, really? I think blue apple's been very interesting in terms of the way that it's been received. A lot of people have said to me that they love the concept and that they understand it from day one. Some people have said to me, not too sure what that means. For me, a blue apple is actually somebody that has skills over and above what they can demonstrate on a document. So it's that extra mile that people will go to. It's that extra skill level that maybe initially on the surface of it doesn't seem relevant. It could be something that they do outside, maybe graphic design or web design or something like that. And it's about, for me, being able to look at the bigger picture and actually represent that individual to the client and say they have got these additional skills, and these skills can actually bring a real positive difference and a real positive impact into your business. So it's looking beyond the obvious. So it's looking at skills that perhaps historically may have been disregarded or may have just been sort of sidelined because they're seen as hobbies or additional interests or things that perhaps aren't even relevant to the sector that they're working in. But actually for me, those skills are all transferable. Individuals always got the ability to grow and improve. And for me, Blue Apple is about representing an individual in the right way, getting them the role that they actually want, but more importantly, giving them the career scope and the growth potential so that they can improve over not just the immediate sort of 6 to 9 months, but over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years and so on.
That's a good point. And the future of resourcing, what do you think it might hold?
Well, the future resourcing for me is very much in flux, and I think one of the things that I had a conversation with somebody about at senior level literally 2 hours ago was actually talking about succession planning and how things are going to shift in the next 3, 4, 5 years in terms of senior management retiring and people then coming up and stepping up to the mantle, and how that landscape is going to shift. And for me, my role, and I think the role of anybody within the resourcing field, if they obviously want to make an impact and make a positive difference, is to support those changes, but make sure that the transition is seamless, but more importantly, actually support businesses so that they continue to grow in the right way and that they don't lose focus, they don't lose direction. But it's about encouraging things like loyalty within your staff. It's about encouraging things like commitment, and actually drawing on the right level of skills and encouraging people to grow in the right way. And that can only come from somebody who's been, in my opinion, within the industry for a certain length of time, that understands people fundamentally and doesn't just see them as a commodity. And that's where I think the value add for us is we are very much about working with a small network of people that we consider to be the best of the best, hence the term Blue Apple, and actually taking that to market and saying, these are the kind of people that we think you should be working with in your business to develop to the next level and take it to the next stage of your existence.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you.
That's Cordless Resourcing. If you have any more questions, say hello at cordless.co.uk. Thank you.